Good evening and very warm welcome to a special program called Cricket Predicta on NewsX, powered by 1xBet. Well, in yesterday's electrifying encounter, Sunrisers Hyderabad delivered a knockout punch, trouncing Lucknow Super Giants by 10 wickets in a record-breaking run chase at the Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium, chasing down Lucknow's target of 166. They actually made it look very paltry. But in just 9.4 overs, yes, without losing a wicket, Hyderabad's Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma showcased an outstanding batting display, forging an unbeaten partnership of 166 runs. Their onslaught comprised of, well, it's for people. Well, of course, we'll move on to the next match, which is today. As of IPL action moves into Hyderabad today, Punjab Kings and Royal Challengers Bangalore are gearing up for the clash at Himachal Pradesh Cricket Stadium Association's Dharamshala, with both teams neck and neck in the points table. Punjab at 8th position and Bangalore at 7th. Wow. The stage is set for an intense battle, having clashed 32 times previously. Punjab holds a slight edge with 17 victories, while Bangalore trails closely with 15 wins. With Bangalore riding on the wave of 3 consecutive wins from the last 5 matches, the contest promises to be an enthralling spectacle of cricket for the cricket enthusiasts and fans globally. Well, to me, we've got a special panel of guests: David Brooks, former cricket director, Channel 4 UK; Paul Dinette, the journalist and podcaster from Australia; Sadanand Vishwanath, the man with the golden gloves. Of course, joining us is also in the studio is Tatinda Ziambe, cricket expert from Zimbabwe. Tatinda, what do we have the discussion here? What are the talk points here that you want to throw on to our panel of experts? And then I would get Sadanand Vishwanath onto the show and talk 30 seconds about the onslaught that happened yesterday.
All
Tatinda.
right. So we're going to have pretty much a game between two teams that are excelling in two different ways. With RCB, they've had a great resurgence, particularly with their batting. You've got the likes of Virat Kohli, and finally du Plessis is now supporting him, as well as getting support down a little further down with number 3 and number 4. But then also with Punjab, what we're looking at, whilst they haven't necessarily been as consistent with the bat, with the bowling, they've been phenomenal. They've been the 3rd best team in terms of taking wickets this season, and they've got 2 players in the top 5 of the purple cap. That's Harshal Patel and Arshdeep Singh. So this is where the clash is going to be won and lost. Can they take out Virat Kohli, who has taken an astonishing 27% of his team's overall runs? Because he's going to be the big linchpin. If they do that, maybe it's now going to depend on the toss. They set them out, they restrict them to a low total, then maybe Punjab can have a chance to turn it around. I think that's where the battle is going to be. Can their bowlers beat RCB's batsmen?
Can the bowlers beat the RCB batting? Well, that's a question that Sadanand Vishwanath, why don't you take the cue and just, it's a rotation of strike. Come in and score your thing on today's match, and 30 seconds on what happened yesterday. The onslaught, the carnage. Over to you, Sadanand.
Hi, Steve. Hi, Tati. Well, the demolition men, Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma, I mean, this awesome twosome. They just stole into the LSG bowling attack, plundering them, for a massive 166 for no loss. This is the 3rd time that the SRH boys have won by 10 wickets. And, it was a real masterclass of power hitting. And yet another record-breaking win, chasing down 166 in just 58 balls. Earlier, Ayush Budawami with 55 9 throws, and Nicholas Purad, 48, with 28 balls. That was a pretty useful stand of 99 runs. And some respectable score came up, 166. It was never going to be enough, and SRS just stole into their attack and smashed the runs down with some awesome power hitting from Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma. Abhishek Sharma now is the highest sixer hitter. He's got 35 sixes. Travis Head has got 31 sixes, and Cricit has got 31 too, and Rian Parag has got 28 sixes. So that was about yesterday's match, an awesome win for SRH. But today, at Dharamshala, the most picturesque ground in the world, a battle royale for survival between RCB that they take on the Punjab Kings. RCB, after a horrendous start, Sunil, have managed to claw themselves back. And they have the winning momentum, like rightly said. They've been winning 3 wins on the trot. And in a very comprehensive manner too. See, these wins have not just boosted their sagging morale, but have taken them to the 7th spot in the IPL. With 8 points from 11 matches, RCB can still make it to the playoffs, provided they win all their remaining fixtures. The same situation occurs for Punjab. And, however, only one of these 2 teams can progress. So may the best team win today, and I'm going RCB all the way. I'm sure David also will come along with me and support RCB.
David Brooks, did you get it right yesterday or not? As I said, you were on live television, and we love sledging and embarrassing.
Hello, Sunil. You know, about the halfway stage yesterday, I was thinking the bowlers are coming right back into this tournament, and they're beginning to turn the tables on the batters. But, well, I got one thing right, and the only thing right was I said the Aussies would be the main stage that would determine the result of the match. And 2 things I would say, although whilst admitting I got that one wrong. I mean, Travis Head, what a contribution he made, and marshalled his team from ball 1. They looked like they meant business from the very point in which they started. So that's the last time I'm opposing Pat Cummins as captain. He really has shown his mettle. And, you know, you have to say one team wanted it more yesterday. You could see it when they were bowling. They looked like they were demons in the pitch when KS Rowell was batting. But then the openers from made a complete mockery of that, didn't they? When they came out to bat, the SRH openers just made a mockery. And they obliterated. It wasn't just a victory, it was an obliteration.
Well,
and a fabulous birthday gift for Pat Cummins yesterday.
So let's hear our Australian expert in the house joining us, Paul Dinette. Paul, first question. Have you done your packing for Delhi as yet, or are you still taking your time for the weekend?
G'day, Sunil. I've done a bit. I'm getting pretty well organised, but I always leave things to the last minute. But I'm sure I'll get there in the end. I'm looking forward to it immensely. Yeah, last night was incredible. I think that someone on Twitter said to me, yeah, I love Travis Head, but that wasn't cricket the second innings, implying that it was just a slogathon. I said, no, if you watched it, for a start, as David said, the first innings, they slumped to 165. I actually wrote in my notes, this is a pitch tailor-made for Ayesh Badoni. I thought, this is the sort of pitch that, it's not a 220 pitch, it's a tough pitch, and he's played an innings that could be match-winning. Well, wasn't I made to look stupid? That was absolutely extraordinary. And at the bottom of the screen, the ticker with the 6s and 4s, there were points where it was just 6, 6, 4, 6, 4, 6. It's just, I feel like I've said this several times throughout the IPL, but I've never seen anything like what I saw last night. And it was...
Let me ask you, did it remind you of the Atari days, the video game? The Atari, the one which you played very long ago? Considering you and David Brooks and W.G. Grace are of the same era.
W.G. Grace was millions of years ago.
Well, let's shift our focus to today's thrilling encounter between Southern Vishwanath's favorite team, RCB, which is at the bottom, and slightly up on that is Punjab. Well, when they sat on the auction table, it was very clear that Punjab was going for bowlers. And that fact has been has been underlined to us by Tatinda, our expert, in-house expert. My question to Southern Vishwanath, do you think we are going in a classic humdinger kind of a match? Because both the teams are poles apart. One is batting heavy, the second is bowling heavy. What do you make of that, Southern Vishwanath?
They are poles apart, you're right. But right now, RCB do have the edge because they're just coming off a win. And the Punjab boys stuttered and faltered, when they played Chennai. They bowled really well. They choked Chennai. And they restricted Chennai to just 166. But then their batsmen just threw it all away. They wasted that golden opportunity which they had to move up the ladder. And Dharamshala too has not been too lucky for the Punjab Kings 11. And I think that VK, that's Virat Kohli, he remains very consistent at the top. And Faf also broke his low string of scores with a belligerent knock in the previous game. He got 64 of just 23 balls, 10 fours and 3 sixes. Jack Wills is also, under a little bit of pressure to come good today because he got a sparkling ton of just 41 balls versus Gujarat. And of course, Cameron Green is there along with Maxwell. And we all are hoping and praying that the RCB get this one and the next two and somehow just make it into the playoffs. We are with you, RCB. We shall cup someday.
I
Come on,
still
RCB.
wonder.
Just two more wins. Just two more wins, Sunil.
With so much of positivity around, where do you get the extra dose of positivity? You seem to come out straight from the Energizer ad, television commercial, or Bugs Bunny, never ending with the kind of positivity and zeal. But we'll keep that discussion for a later date. David Brooks, what good you see in today for Australia? I mean, you have Brad Haddon as the assistant coach, fast bowler, no, spin bowling coach Sunil Joshi, Trevor Gonzalez, you have the head coach, you have the bowling coach, Adam Griffith. What do you think of the Aussies today, their contribution in today's match? Do you foresee anything?
Well, I don't think it will be as significant as yesterday, especially as Maxwell and Green have not exactly been stars of this tournament. And as for the assistant coaching staff, but I don't know whether Brad Haddon will have the same expression that Justin Langer did. A grim resignation, wasn't it, at the end of that match? His cheerfulness was hard. Well, he's trying
Hold on,
his
that's
best
a
to
good
look
point.
cheerful. He
That's
didn't
a
look
good
cheerful
point.
towards the end.
That's a good point. You've just nudged us to ask our expert. Sadanand Vishwanath, you watched what happened yesterday with Justin Langer and your favorite KL Rahul. Do you think that decision, you're a former India player, if somebody was to come and talk to you like this, like happened yesterday, how would you react to it if you were the coach or if you were the player or the skipper? Go on.
Well, even the franchise owner, he had a poke at Rahul after the match. He scolded them in public. And I don't know what happened between Justin Langer and KL Rahul. But I've known Rahul from his childhood. He's very calm and cool and collected. He never gets provoked. So I think Rahul was handling it well. But look, Sunil, they lost 2 wickets in the power play, 27 for 2. Bhuvneshwar Kumar bowled superbly. And there were 2 brilliant catches by Nitish Kumar Reddy and Sabir Singh. And after that, they just couldn't get their act together. And like Steve and Dave were rightly saying, the wicket was looking absolutely different when, the LSG guys batted. And then the SRH boys just seemed to be playing on a different planet.
In this panel, Sadanand Vishwanath, in this panel, you're the only international cricketer who's played for India. You're a keeper yourself, and so was Rahul. And you've captained your respective side at that level. Just answer the question very honestly and just bite the bullet. If you were on the receiving end and if the franchise owner was talking down on you, especially when he's not played cricket at any level, he's just the guy writing the fact checks, how would you react to it?
Well, he's still my boss. He's still the franchise owner. I still will have to respect it. I will try to use my man management skills and ask him to cool down, not to get too personal, and we can certainly talk about it in private. So I'm sure that I would have been able to handle it very well. With all the mature years that I've spent now, there's no more angry young blood. I would never have been provoked. I would have taken it in my stride and I would have responded in a very cool manner.
Well, that's a consolation. But I won't let you go off right now. I'll still ask you one more question on that topic. Who was the most irate, explosive skipper you've played under who had the same kind of expression? Of course, we don't know the context. I mean, we don't know the exact wordings, but somebody who was as animated as what we saw yesterday.
The most explosive captain that I have ever played under?
Absolutely. Or, who would just give us peace of mind at the time?
While in our formative days, while we were playing for the young Indian teams, Ravi Shastri was an excellent captain. He was our mentor, he was a philosopher, he was a guide. He also groomed and nurtured many of us, to go on to play for the Indian team. And then I had the opportunity and the good fortune of having Sunnybai as my captain, who was also a very fantastic leader. He was a very good motivator. And then we had the dashing Kapil Dev, who was a sensational leader.
The question is,
who was most expressionate, who was going to make a lot of expressions, and who was more animated. I would think that Ravi was always animated, and Ravi was a very good leader.
I think you've just solved the riddle. You've just solved the riddle, because the scratches on his body in 1985, now we know the real culprit. You despite, and you got back at him by just scratching his Audi, which he still rules about.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. If you look at my shoes, it was rubbers. I think it was somebody else. It must have been one of the consumers.
Yeah, that's what Shaggy kept on saying when he sang that famous song. But we move on to David Brooks, who also likes his music. David Brooks, did you say that your Gujarat is going to win and LSG is going to top the tables at some day, or you will still go the Shaggy way and say it wasn't me?
It wasn't me. Yeah, we'll remember that one. No, as far as, I mean, today I think that we haven't mentioned Virat Kohli yet. We usually mention him within the first 5 minutes. It's his tableau today. So it's all set up for him to dig deep. And with the fact that some of the other RCB batsmen are coming to form, notably the captain Faf and Will Jacks, as Tatenda was saying earlier, the fact that now that batting lineup is firing,
yes,
I think it's all set for RCB today. I'd love to see them bowl first though and chase. I think that would suit Virat, suit the rest of the side, and I go so far as to say that toss will be very crucial today. I think the bowling side will have a big advantage in if they're chasing today. So I'd like to see RCB win the toss, put them in, and chase it down. Virat Kohli, the impact player.
Well, the Englishman from London, the cricket expert David Brooks, has a good point to talk about Virat Kohli, but we'll also talk about your favourite Englishman on the other side, Punjab Kings, Johnny Bairstow, 257 runs in 9 innings, and Sam Curran, 185 runs in 10 innings, as compared to Virat Kohli's 542 runs. My question is to an Aussie, Paul Dinette. Paul, what do you make of the English contribution to the entire IPL, considering David has been very unkind to you and taking the digs and the swipes that he has in the last 40 days? Just go on.
Well, David has had a good point that, some of the Australians have been underperforming. As he mentioned, Glenn Maxwell, we
Yes.
hope that he can perform today. His record in the tournament is pretty grim. I think that the two Englishmen in question, Sam Curran has had a decent enough tournament. He's got some... he's bowled reasonably well. His batting has been on the slow side, there's no doubt about that. And Bairstow, with the exception of that century, probably has been a little bit disappointing as well. So, yeah, it hasn't been a great IPL necessarily for the English players. And he's starting to improve.
Well, Sadaran Vishwanath, when you have the batting lineup and you have two of the best strikers in the rotation of the game, Dinesh Karthik, the man who's at the end, and Rashad Patidar, do you see another masterclass coming from Dinesh Karthik, considering that it was always a touch and go for him for the World Cup?
It was. He's always been a great asset for RCB. He's been a great finisher, not just for RCB, even for the Indian team. And that's exactly the problem. We are starting well, and then what happens is we stutter in the middle. I just read you a little interesting stat. In the 4, 5, and 6 positions, when these batters are batting for the RCB, they aggregate just 544 runs in 11 matches. And the average is just 20.92. This is the least average any team of these batters in these positions, 4, 5, and 6. So that's where they faltered. And we haven't been very consistent in this position. So I guess if Jack Wills and Maxwell and Patidar and Dinesh too comes to the party, I'm sure we can even chase the score or even defend the score, depending on the toss and depending on fast decisions.
Vishy, just one question, Vishwanath.
Modi, sir.
RCB has the worst power play in the opening stance in the last 10 games. They've got perhaps mediocre middle overs to play with. Their bowling average, according to Chatinda's statistic, they all go down the drain. And when everything is going south, where do you get all your positivity and still ensure and still back your RCB? Just tell us the medicine that you have.
Yeah, because RCB right now are on a high. They're on cloud 9 because they're coming off 3 consecutive wins. So you've got to give them credit and you've got to hope that they maintain that momentum. And that's it. I think Mohammad Siraj too has come into form. And now it's just an all-round skill that RCB boys have to demonstrate and just see who all makes the vital, crucial contributions. And that's what will give RCB the rhythm and the momentum to win this match.
Well, David Brooks, are you surprised to find Glenn Maxwell as the top 4 RCB bowlers with 5 wickets in 5 innings? That means, Tatinda, you want to talk about the bowling part of RCB?
Yes, for sure. And bowling, I think, has been the Achilles heel. And I guess we know that Glenn Maxwell, he missed a few games, obviously for mental and, just to take a break and come refreshed. But even coming back, he's still the 4th best bowler in terms of wickets taken. And I think what Mr. Sutherland was saying there as well, insofar as the number 4s to number 6 batsmen, they haven't really contributed well. Whereas Punjab, with their bowling, like we've rightfully pointed out, especially when it comes to the death bowling. They're the best death bowling team in the IPL, having taken the most wickets in that time. So the longer it plays out, and if they're restricting them to a low total, then it's going to work in Punjab's favour. So I think, like we said at the beginning, it's key for RCB's top order to get it done today.
David Brooks, with these figures, do you still have gumption and guts to back RCB tonight?
Well, I mean, Tatenda makes a good point there about the quality of the RCB death bowling. That's why I think it's very important that whoever wins the toss is going to have a big advantage. I think whoever wins the toss will put the opposition in, and then they'll have the best chance possible of chasing. I mean, one Englishman we haven't mentioned, Will Jacks, has put some form together. He's taken a bit of the pressure off Virat Kohli. He needs to make a final contribution today. He'll probably put on Bairstow's opportunities, one of his last opportunities. But Tatenda makes a very good point about the quality of the death bowling with Sam Curran and co. So I think that much better off RCB batting second and chasing down this score today.
Well, RCB, that's the famous line here with the experts here. Well, that's all we had time for. Thank you for joining us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.